Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's stories are from Entitled Parents. Our next story is by Eaten by a Gru, 1988. Entitled Mom Wants My House as Payment for Marrying Her Daughter. Hey Reddit, this is an ongoing show, so I'm putting this here so I can try to make sense of this. My wife's mother has been a malignant narcissist her entire life, to the point where she ended up not going to our wedding because she didn't want to go to the city we both live in. I even offered to drive her here and put them up in a nice house for the week of the wedding. And she, quote, decided to, quote, surprise us with a wedding that she threw on the same day as our wedding without telling us ahead of time. Anyway, after almost a year of not speaking, she and my wife are now trying to have a relationship. I'm not in favor because I've seen how she treats my wife, but my wife is a grown-up and I have to support her. A little over 6 months ago, my parents decided to give us their house, my childhood home, and we've been remodeling it. We moved in earlier this month and my wife, with my blessing, invited her parents to stay over for a week so they could see their grandkids. We have twins, a boy and a girl named Luke and Leia, and see the city we live in. Everything went fine until breakfast this morning, when over coffee, my wife's mom, mother-in-law from now on, drops a bombshell on me. Mother-in-law: So, OP, when I had my children, I wanted to have them so someone could take care of me when I get old. There's some history behind this, related to why she fought so hard against my wife in my relationship, but that's another story for another time. Me takes a sip of my coffee, waiting to see where this is going. Mother-in-law: So since you took her away from me, I think you should be responsible for me too. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to live in your guest room, the room they had been using for the last week. I need you to drive us to their province so we can pick up our things. Me: I don't follow. Mother-in-law: Since you married my daughter, I only have one son to take care of me. It's only fair that you took her. Now you have the responsibility to care for me. My wife: Mom, I think you should pack. Mother-in-law: No, you married this slur for a mixed-blood Filipino. I should at least get some benefits. This woman is a nightmare. My wife: Mom, that's enough. We invited you to stay the week so you could meet your grandkids, but now I'm starting to see this might have been a mistake. Me: Mother-in-law, I think we need to go. I'll take you back to your province, but you are not going to live here. So here's the current situation. Mother-in-law is locked in the guest room, quote, packing, but we suspect that she's planning to squat in the room. Whenever we knock, she starts crying hysterically about how she's going to die old and alone, and how my wife is a bad daughter for not supporting her mom, and how I'm a bad son-in-law because despite having money and a nice house, I'm not supporting her, etc. I'm on the phone with my cousin. He lives down the street from us, and his dad is a justice in the Supreme Court, so hopefully we can get the police to trespass her, and we're working out a response. Update. So, to answer a few questions. 1. The wedding thing was a whole different story that I told a little over a year ago, and then they linked their story. 2. Yes, I could have just taken the door off its hinges, called the cops, etc., all solutions that end with my mother-in-law in the news or a police blotter somewhere, and I like to avoid that. Just sending her back home is enough to keep her away, since it's pretty far and she's only been to my city twice. This is the second time. 3. End of the story isn't as juicy as the story itself. My cousin's father, my uncle and godfather, sent over a police captain who brought 4 police officers with them. The police managed to coax her out of the room and escorted her to the station, where the police vehicle from her province was waiting to bring her and my father-in-law home. Local captain didn't log the incident in the blotter, which kept it off the books. This right here is the reason the daughter doesn't have a good relationship with her mother. It's like she already knows that she's going to be a problem when she comes over, and inviting herself to stay when neither the daughter or the son-in-law have said you can stay here as long as you want is not okay. And if she stopped doing stuff like that, they probably would want to be around her more frequently, but it's like they knew in advance it would be a problem to have her there. Down in the comments by Trusted Chimp 495, quoting the OP, he lives down the street from us and his dad is a justice in the Supreme Court. Darn, man, at least you got some good help to figure out this mess. Underneath that by the OP, yeah, normally I hate leveraging family money and connections, but if there ever was a time then malignant narcissist intending to reenact the Battle of Thermopylae using your guest room, sure seems like it. And if anybody needs a reminder of what the Battle of Thermopylae was, if you've seen the movie 300, where Leonidas fights the Persian army on the edge of a cliff, basically, that's pretty much the same thing. I had to remind myself of what it was, and I'm pretty sure it's what the movie 300 is based on. Under that, by Competitive Leopards. If she does, please film it. And finally, by More Ramen, Please. This will be better than Hamilton. There's another good reference. I love Hamilton. Our next story is by Taichero's Gata. Mother has invited herself on vacation with me. I've had a crappy year so far. Scarlet fever, major car accident, going through divorce. So when I was selected for a place in Tokyo Marathon next year, I couldn't believe my luck. Honestly, I feel so warm inside just thinking about it. Then I text my mother that I got a place in Tokyo Marathon, and immediately she starts planning a trip without telling me. I spoke to her on the phone a few days later, and she spoke about the hotels and flights she found. I said, no worry, I'll arrange it all, and I'm going to be very hotel specific, the days before and the night after the marathon. After that, I'm going to travel to other regions. She went silent on the phone and then said, but I don't want to do that. I was so confused I asked her what she meant, and she explained how she wanted to stay in one place and not move around again. I was so confused and was like, what? She explained how she thought she'd come. I've spent the past few days explaining my initial itinerary to her, which she just replies that she doesn't like it. I've done my best gently to convince her that I don't think the trip is for her. She hates walking, is a picky eater, is easily frustrated, gets annoyed and anxious in crowds, but not just that. I couldn't imagine leaving her alone during the marathon day, which starts and ends at different parts of the city. I haven't been able to arrange anything because she's convinced she's coming. I know she won't like it. She has never expressed an interest in Japan, has even complained about Asian people. I just do not want the responsibility of dealing with her outbursts and helping her regulate her emotions. I suggested we take a vacation together to Spain in the summer, and she seemed pleased, but is still adamant she's coming with me. It's actually making me so stressed that I don't want to go anymore or wish I'd never told her. I don't know how to let her down gently, but firmly, without her being upset with me. Please help. She's so entitled. I've always wanted to go to Japan. I'm not a big traveler. There's nowhere in the world that I've really ever wanted to go, but for some reason, Japan just seems really, really nice. And I think it's based on the fact that there was a Japanese team, I think rugby team or something, that came to some tournament in North America, and every other nationality, their locker rooms were left in a state of disarray and trashed. But the people from Japan, they were so respectful. It was like they respected the property itself. They folded all their stuff. They cleaned up every bit of the locker room. They just seemed like the nicest people. And the country itself and the cities are I always thought that they looked really clean and really well run. But yeah, you have to tell your mother, and there is no gentle way to let her down from this. And there's no way to manipulate or lie your way out of this to kind of soften the blow. There's nothing like that. You have to say, Mom, I don't want you to come. I'm really excited about this trip, but I want to take it by myself. I plan to do all this stuff, and you already said you don't want to do it, so you're not coming. We can still go on the Spain trip if you're interested later, but this Tokyo trip is just going to be me. And if for some reason you're really interested in going to Tokyo at some point, you and I can go at another time. But this is a me thing. This is a me thing. I'm going alone. She will be hurt, but that is okay. She'll get over it, or maybe she won't. But you also need to listen to what the comments say. Down in the comments by Fabulous Tartlet. Why are you still telling her about your trip to Tokyo? Thanks for the thought, Mom, but this is a solo trip. You are not 12. You do not need her permission. And underneath that by Leola Williams, 5859. I'm sorry, but I will be taking this trip alone. You are not invited. I will see you when you get back. Speak up, otherwise you're going to have a ball and chain following you around in Japan. You are not a child. No one asked her to come. She's not traveling with you. Stop telling her your itinerary. What the heck? You have to stop telling your mom what you're planning to do while there. Tell her you'll tell her about it when you get back. Mom, you're not invited. I love you, but you're not invited. We can go at another time if you want to, but this trip is just me. for my sanity. Maybe don't add that part at the end. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have a boisterous